Alice Cooper, great to meet you.
Thank you.
First of all, congratulations on the success of the album.
Oh, thanks.
2 years since Belfast, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it was about a year and a half, 2 years. Yeah, we've never been down here in Dublin though.
Officially welcome
Yeah.
welcome to Ireland.
This is great.
One thing I'm really curious about is how have you managed to keep such a great head of hair?
Good hair, right?
Because we're all losing ours.
I don't know. It's I don't worry that much, I guess. You know, I don't pull it out. It's just, you know, I guess it's hereditary.
We've just seen Poison, and of course Thrash went multi-platinum. Were you astonished at the success of the album, considering how long you've actually been on the go at this stage?
Well, I don't think there's any such thing as a sure thing, you know? I mean, there are certain times where you sit there and you say, oh, this single is a sure smash, and it never happens. And then the one that you're never expecting to be the hit is the hit. You never sit back and ever finish an album and say, well, that's triple platinum. You know, if you do, it's really bad luck, I think. You know, I think you should sit there and just go, gee, I hope somebody buys this record. That one really took off and did really well for us. And I think this one's on its way, same way. You know, Hey Stoopid is doing the same thing.
Have the fans grown up with you? Have they moved along from the early 70s to the early 90s? Or are there new fans there these days?
Oh yeah, all new fans mostly. I think basically because of MTV and because that we haven't quit touring, and when we do tour, we don't do just oldies. You know, I mean, it would be simple to go out there and just do songs from the last 18 or 19 albums. You know, we have 21 albums out, but the last 2 have been very current, big albums. So it's nice to be able to do your classic stuff, and then at the same time be able to do half of your show from Trash and Hey Stoopid. That keeps you on the cutting edge. You know, that really keeps you that keeps you current.
Back in 1971, I reckon would have been around about the time it kicked into gear for you.
Oh yeah, 71 was really, you know, we had been around doing clubs like anybody else. You know, we were straight out of the garage, and any place you could play, clubs, parties, anything, just to get in front of an audience. And finally moved to Los Angeles, you know, knowing we were going to just go there and starve, because there were 30,000 more bands there trying to play in 10 clubs. You know, you just really had to go there and see what was going to happen. Luckily, Frank Zappa saw us, and he was looking for bands that nobody else would sign. You know, and he saw us, and we were certainly fit that mode. We were like the band that in fact, they didn't just want to sign us, they wanted to run us out of town on a rail, because we were so opposite of everybody else there. And he liked that, so he gave us a record contract.
What was in your heart those days when you decided to take a dive and go for it?
Well, you know, I think you just go out there and you jump in the water and see if you can swim. You know, the first people we met were the Doors, you know, people like that, and they were already big, you know, and then, you know, then you sort of met other people. We met Jimi Hendrix, you know, we were like 16, 17, 18 years old, and those guys were like, you know, they were like idols to us, you know. We were just sitting there, wow, these guys are the real thing. And I think then you aspire to be like them. Unfortunately, they were excessive druggies and alcoholics, you know, and I more or less got into the alcohol more than anything else. You know, I mean, I was a heavy drinker, and that nearly ruined my career just because I thought I had to be like that, you know.
What was that time like?
Well, I mean, it was fun. I mean, it was really fun because we had zero responsibility to anybody. The only responsibility we had was the band. As far as nobody was married, nobody was, you know, this, nobody was that. All we had to do was just like show up, you know, and play any place we could play and find gigs. And so it was really fun, the fact that we had zero responsibility to anybody.
How different are you these days?
The show is venomous. I mean, when you see the show tonight, Alice has not mellowed 1 inch. In fact, if anything, he's gone the other way. It's more vicious than ever. But that's Alice. That's the character. That's, you know, the guy I get to be tonight.
That's the guy you detach yourself from afterwards.
Absolutely.
Why is that? You just couldn't live with that guy.
You couldn't bring him off stage. I mean, he'd either be in jail, insane asylum, or dead. It's like taking somebody that's running on a whole different speed and putting him in this, you know, putting him in this life, and he just doesn't exist in this. He's just going way too fast. That's what happened with Morrison. That's what happened to all those guys. They tried to live that image off stage, and it can't exist.
Has a time ever come when you feel like saying, God, I hate playing this guy?
No, I love it. There was a time, you know, when I was heavy and alcoholic. I was 9 years ago. I stopped drinking 9 years ago. But right before there were a couple of years there when I just couldn't face going on stage because I knew I'd look at the stage clothes, I'd look at the stage. I knew that that meant a bottle of whiskey to get up there, you know. And that was a progressive thing. It was like from having a couple of beers just to progressing up to needing alcohol as medicine. It was sort of like if I had to do this interview 9 years ago, I would have been in there and I would have had like 4 or 5 drinks before, you know, at 9 o'clock in the morning. You know, it's such a relief not to have to do that.